her question is, how do we let go? We usually let go by letting go, but we fall in love with the things we cling to. They start to look beautiful. Some people have it in them, they just don't let go of any clutter. All documents, all paperwork, all junk, all receipts, they will just keep it. They will not discard it. People in the family around them would be screaming, please get rid of this thing, please sell this thing, please give it to the scrap dealer. But they say, no, I have to keep it. Who knows, tomorrow I may need it. So if you think you need a certain emotion, keep it. We only keep what we wish to recycle or reuse. Very simple. So when something is giving you grief, ask yourself, is this the kind of emotion I want to reuse? And the most beautiful aspect of human existence is that transformation is possible. It does not depend on your age. It does not depend on your circumstances, on your status, on nothing. It simply depends on A, your commitment to transforming yourself, and B, accepting that there are things I must let go, even if I think I'm right. And often peace is a choice between being right and being at peace. Sometimes it's okay, let the other person think they are right. At least you will be at peace. So you have to choose. Do I want to be at peace or do I want to be right? I shared this story, I think, many years ago, or a while ago. I heard Dr. Dyer once, one of his talks. And he said he was sitting in the plane and next to him was a billionaire. And that man was quite stressed out. Halfway into the flight, he asked, Wayne, what do you do for a living? He said, look, I'm a life coach, I'm a motivational speaker. He said, maybe you could help me. And he said, I'm going through an ugly divorce. And it's a bitter fight. And this thing has really sapped the life out of me. And I hate my wife like I've never hated anybody. And I wish her death every day I get up. She wants $450 million of my assets. That's her share. Even though she didn't do anything and so on and so forth. So when Dr. Dyer said to him, listen, you must have a very stellar team of lawyers. He said, of course. What do they do? He said, they tell me every time, look, now they have come up with this argument, they have come up with this asset of yours that you hadn't declared, they have come up with this document now, what do you do, how do we respond, and so on and so forth. He said, listen, you tell your lawyers, I am paying you to give me the good news. I'm not paying you to give me the stress. I am paying you so you can take care of the stress. Henceforth, don't call me unless you have something good to tell me. It works, this strategy. I've had it at my workplace. When people report a problem, I said, I'm not interested. Anybody can come up with a problem. Big deal. Come up with a solution. And if you can't, come up with a resignation letter. And get the hell out of here. Don't waste my time, really. Why do you hire somebody? So they can take care of the stress, not so they can give you their stress. So he said, Dr. Dyer said to this person, he said, you call your lawyers and you tell them, listen, I pay you, so you take care of the stress for me, not so you can give me stress. So if you call me when there is a bad news, I promise I will fire you right away. So you choose between your billable hours or finding something else or a good news. And he said, that's a good point. I will try and implement it. And anything else you have for me? He said, listen, you said you have assets over $1 billion. He said, that's true. Do you think you could be happy with 550 million? If she was to take away 450, you're saying you'd still be left with more than 50%. Do you think you could be happy with that? We said, well, to be honest with you, it's decent sum. I could be happy with that. But she doesn't deserve 450, he said. But she doesn't deserve that kind of money. He said, forget. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be happy? What do you want? And he said, of course I want to be happy because my BP has shot up, I am more diabetic, I'm taking medication for my heart, I'm taking medication for my thinning of my blood, for my blood pressure. I am pretty much eating as much medication as I'm eating my food. So I would very much like some peace and quiet in my life. He said, then make an offer she can refuse. Give her maybe, because maybe you don't want her to have anything, she's stuck at 450. Maybe you start at 100 mil or 200 mil, maybe she'll take it. And if 450 days, then 450 days. You've got to do it. I mean, she was your wife for how long? He said 24 years. Then I think she deserves more than 450. Because it's not easy to put up with a narcissist and an arrogant fellow. And most men are just that, full of ego and just empty vessels making much noise. So Dr. Dyer said to him, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? So you choose. So he called, he obviously exchanged numbers, and he called him a couple of months later. He said, my life's totally changed. We settled amicably. And I really told my lawyers, my attorneys, don't call me unless you have a good news for me. I don't want to hear any bad news. Keep it to yourself. Deal with it. Fix it. You're getting paid for it. He said that really worked. If you give your employees or the people around you the option to always sob and be sad and cry, that's what they will do. If you don't give them that option, they will stop doing that. It requires a careful balance between how you lead your life versus how you wish to lead it. So the idea is behind letting go, be loving to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And when I say be kind to yourself, I certainly don't mean that you become a couch potato and you don't do anything and you say, I am being kind to myself. Today I don't feel like working or working out or anything. To stop working up, I have decided to just not work. That's not being kind to yourself. Being kind to yourself is you realize, you understand deep in your bones that you have something to offer and you are going to work towards it. That you are going to create yourself your own value center, if I may use that term. So it's not that hard as it may sound, but letting go, sometimes prayer helps. Just pray. Sometimes a prayer melts you. And that can be very helpful at times. So that's the answer to your question in my limited knowledge. I hope it was of some use.